Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Stumped. I'm your host, Dave, and our special guest today is Cole. Cole knows so much. He's so knowledgeable, and I love asking him questions. You never know what he's going to say, and it's usually something very illuminating. So, Cole, let's talk about bricolage. It's a creative term, and what do you think that could be?
Like when you make a collage out of brie, like cheese,
Out of
like a
brie
bunch
cheese.
of different cheeses.
Yeah,
It's a cottage industry.
Okay, you've seen art.
Making that cheddar.
Well, you've seen art that's made out of odds and ends.
Odds and ends.
Just
yeah.
various little things, and you get up close to it and realize it's made out of strange things that are just collected, but you get far enough away, it makes a beautiful picture. You've seen stuff like
so
that.
it is a collage, but more objects and stuff.
It's an actual version of the creative idea, which is that you go around and you work with what you've got. So you go and collect, instead of imagining what you would like to have for your project, you scavenge what you already have. You work with what you got. So it's been
My
described
mind is going
as
towards the soda bottle robot that's Spencer Shea made in iCarly. That's the image that it brings to my mind.
Yeah. So instead of going out and buying things or going out and getting things, you work with what you have. So it was described as like the savage mind working, and it's used in computer programming and dreaming up software, and it's a creative concept.
Computer programming, that's interesting. That makes me more wonder why I haven't heard of it, about it yet. Though there are a lot of concepts in computer programming that I'm not familiar with. You said like dreaming and stuff. Are you talking about like machine learning stuff, like in artificial intelligence?
If you got an idea,
If it's creative, it
it'll
must
work.
be. I don't know, or I don't know if it's like what the program's creating or how the computer programmer is producing the program. On that.
So then, torchless panic.
Torchless panic. Is that when you panic because you need a torch but you don't have it?
There are no torches available. What are you going to do?
Oh, man,
torch.
it's dark. I need to see, but I can't see. So because I don't have a torch.
Okay, so it's when you have a deadline and you have been thinking of your idea, but you're running out of time, and you have to make decisions, and you sometimes get a great creative burst because you have a deadline.
Oh, yeah.
Torchless panic. So a great example of this is like a game show. They used to have a game show called Beat the Clock, and the people would get this burst of adrenaline, and it was fun. It was like great comedy watching them figure out how to beat the clock. And the final round of Jeopardy, they have the sound of the clock ticking in the music.
Classic, yep.
Yeah, and so the feeling there is the feeling of torchless panic. So there used to be actual like gate in old days where they would close the gate, and you had to be inside the city walls before they would close the gate. And it's a German word for the gate is about to close. So the torchless panic gives you that burst of adrenaline, creative thought.
Okay.
That's the torchless panic.
That's a phenomenon that I've experienced on occasion, but I've never associated it with that word. I'm glad I have something to call it now.
I remember hearing Charles Schultz from the Peanuts cartoon said, "Let's give ourselves 5 minutes and sit down and see how fast we can come up with something, and then we'll share it when we're done."
Done that
like
on
torchless
occasion.
panic. Yeah.
I've done that with like 2 minutes on occasion. That's a good way to kickstart a process going, to see what can you do in this constrained amount of time. It brings this clarity. You can't indulge in the time of just considering a bunch of possibilities. You have to just pick one and move forward.
Yeah, you have to make a decision and move with it. Okay, so charrette.
No clue whatsoever. It sounds French. I can tell you that much. Sounds kind of like charade. I don't know if it's related at all or not to that.
Before there was the chevette, there was the charrette.
Is this a derivative of a word that's just sure? And it's like a smaller version of I don't know what that would be even.
A bigger one with an engine in it is a Chevrolet.
Oh! It all makes sense now. Thank you.
Well, you hook a horse up to it because you don't have a motor. Anyway, so you can put drawings and paintings in charrette, and they would go around and collect plans for the city in architectural designs, and students would submit their drawings and the charrette as it was going by, and the students were famous for getting in the charrette and finishing their drawing as it was being hauled to the to be evaluated.
So it is a vehicle.
Yeah, it's an old
Okay.
cart with big like wooden wheels pulled by a horse or a couple of people collecting ideas.
Neat.
Yeah.
I like that.
So modern day charrette, you'll bring a bunch of engineers, planners, designers together, and they'll put them in little groups, and they'll put their heads together and come up with plans. And I think that's like a charrette party, something like that.
That's very smart. I like
think
it.
Tank like that.
Think tank, yeah.
Okay, so for bricolage, the mailbox was a bricolage, and it happened in space.
It's space.
It was in space, and it saved the lives of some astronauts in Apollo 13.
Is this the square peg and round hole thing where they need to fix this I think it was a
round canister from the main pod, whatever it was, and they had to go into the I think it was the moon unit or something, and the round thing didn't fit the square thing, so they had to make a square thing to fit or something. And anyway, so they had a sock, roll of duct tape, a plastic bag, a tube from one of their space suits. And
I gotta look into this later. I gotta see what this looks like.
And they went and got a canister from.
I know I've heard about it, but I never really properly looked into it.
Yeah, from the other capsule, and they taped it all together. Anyway, so it was making do with what they had.
I didn't know
around.
a sock was involved.
Yeah, it was the tube sock, and it was like something, a garment bag or something, and they taped it all together. Anyway, so it was bricolage.
I guess so, yeah.
It was bricolage.
So they call that bricolage, that example of bricolage, the mailbox?
That's an example of bricolage.
Did they call that the mailbox?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mailbox. Okay, so Graham Wallace. Who is that? He's the father of, and it has a lot to do with what we're talking about.
Oh, I really feel like I should know who this
Graham
is.
Wallace.
I don't know if it's just because I'm aware of both Grahams and Wallaces.
He was the man.
Is he an artist of some kind?
No.
Okay.
Not an artist. Well, I don't know.
I could easily imagine Wallace. I realize why I said that. I was about to say I can easily imagine a cartoonist by this name before I realized I'm thinking of Wallace and Gromit, a character from a cartoon. So okay. So I don't know who.
I can't say
know who Graham Wallace
was or wasn't an artist, but he wrote the theory of creative thinking that is the standard model of creative thinking.
Okay.
And the first one, it has to do with if you fall in swimming pool, that is immersion.
Yeah, sure.
His first thing was preparation.
So this is about the process of creating something new. You need to prepare yourself and then immerse yourself in a topic or concept or experience of some kind in order to either take an experience in through immersion or you immerse yourself in the creation that you're making anew. I mean, I guess there's truth in both those things, but I know that it's probably only referring to one of those things, and it's probably the former. Immersing yourself in something in order to gain an understanding of an experience before you can replicate it. But you want to create immersion for the audience. So
well,
I don't know exactly what it's referring to.
The audience is that you want your thing to be true to what people need or what you're working on. So you want to be sure that you're tuned in really well to what your creative thing is gonna be focused on.
Yep.
So it's relevant. Okay, so then riding a beam of light.
That sounds like following inspiration, I think, or having or just having a streak of imagination in, like, you don't know where you're going, but you're on to something. Okay. That's my guess.
All right.
That reaction indicates to me that's I'm probably not on it.
Well, it's a famous thing that Einstein thought.
Oh, it was one of his thought experiments?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay, I see. So that must have been like how he formulated his understanding of, I mix up general and special relativity, but that sounds like an Einstein thought experiment. Right. Yeah.
Okay, so he thought that
because he needs to make sure that the speed of light is consistent in all reference frames, even if you're traveling, I guess near to the speed of light. Because if you're at the speed of light, then the passage of time is 0, I guess.
Well,
but then again, there's also. I've run out of my understanding here. Okay. I'm sure I said something wrong there.
Okay, so he thought that imagination was very important in coming up with new science. He thought that in order to discover more science, you need imagination.
Because you need to think of the new questions to ask, and you need the imagination to help you see what paths there are to explore next.
Right. So then when you were saying that he thought things were the same everywhere, that was another important thing that he called intuition. And he said that was just intuition when he thought that the laws of physics had to be the same everywhere.
You draw that conclusion through intuition, but that intuition, that conclusion, is that called the equivalence principle? Oh, that's not on the list. That's not on the list of topics for this video.
Of words.
That's fine. I'm going outside of the scope of the video here.
He talked about forced association. So when you're in the gestational period, you can have what he called an absurd hypothesis. So he would put things he would force things to go together that just don't go together, that normally don't go together.
Okay. I see. So there was this thread, this path that my brain was going down at first, because I thought this was all about like when I think creativity, I think about the production of art. But this is about more than that. It's about understanding the world even more through things like science and physics and math and stuff. So creativity plays a part in all of that, not just in the production of art. Mm-hmm. I see. You mentioned absurd hypotheses, and there's a thing you said just before that. I'm going to remember it. Let me think. No, I forgot. What was that? What was the other thing you said?
I don't know.
There was another term.
Absurd hypothesis.
Before absurd
Forced association.
Forced association.
Forced association. How can playing the violin help the theory of relativity?
Fair question. I don't know the answer to that. I can imagine that just by playing an instrument, it can aid your general neuroplasticity, but to a more concrete, to force an association between the two, I don't know. Do you have a better understanding of resonance? I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay. It gets you out of tunnel vision. So you get locked in on what you're working on, and it keeps other ideas from coming in. So if you remove yourself from the focus and do something else, then it allows unrelated ideas to come in and mix with what you've been focused on.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, that makes sense.
And then they mix in with what you're thinking about and give you an idea. So sometimes you want to remove yourself from the problem you're working on, and then it's supposed to let your subconscious mind work on it. It'll keep working. It's supposed to keep working on it sometimes. Yeah. So, and then even sleep. They say sometimes sleep helps you process stuff.
Yeah, I almost think that that's part of what the purpose of dreams are, to
Some people have woken up with the solution, woken up with the their thing all figured out. Okay, now you've heard the expression thinking outside the box.
Yes.
Okay. There was an actual puzzle that was created. Do you know how to solve the puzzle?
I'm guessing by the way you've set this up, the solution involves thinking outside of the box, but
Yes.
it must be like more literal than the idiom that we use now. No, is it idiom that I'm thinking of? I might be using the wrong word there. I don't know. But the phrase, saying, I'll go with that.
I guess I can draw one if you can see.
Oh, boy.
See right here.
Okay.
All right, so we can do, let's see if I can do it. You can you see on the, all right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're supposed to do it with 4 lines.
4 lines.
Right. So let's see if I can.
Are we trying to connect those dots?
Yeah. All right, so I think you go like this, and then you go down, and then you go across, and then there's one more like this. Okay, now you go up like that. Maybe it's like over, down.
I see.
Here's the thing about the thinking outside the box is that people have come up with even more ways to think outside the box with this puzzle. So here's one. This is 3 lines right here, but I can connect all these dots with 3 lines by going like that.
That's definitely thinking like a mathematician.
So that's thinking outside the box. Okay, here's one. We were talking about absurd hypothesis. I can connect all of these lines. I drew these really small. I don't know if you can see if I hold it up because it's probably out of focus. But there are 9 dots, but they are absurdly small. And if I take an absurdly large magic marker, I can just go over all of them and connect them all with 1 line.
Okay.
A better example of that.
The mathematician in me doesn't like that solution, but the engineer probably.
I followed all the instructions and connected it with 1 line.
True.
Lifting the pen from the paper.
Like a lawyer, thanks.
Right, okay.
I'm more fond of the folding solution.
Absurd hypothesis. Okay, so then you have your next phase is called illumination. And that's when you have your eureka moment. All right, and you know who said eureka?
I don't know who said it, but I remember the scene. Someone filled a bathtub all the way to the top. I know it's a famous person, famous name, but I mixed up my old Greek names. Mm-hmm. But I know he got in the tub. It displaced the water.
Right.
He said eureka because he realized you could derive the volume of an object from the displacement of the water. And then by comparing the volume with the weight, you can then solve for its density and prove what metal it's made of.
Which was apparently not gold, which
was
supposed to be trying to find out. It was Archimedes.
Archimedes. That's it.
And by the way, thank you, Archimedes. He invented the screw.
Yeah.
And when you're driving down the road, you can thank Archimedes for all the nuts and bolts in your car.
Yeah, Archimedes' name just left my mind entirely.
Archimedes.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
Shoot. Yeah.
Thank you, Archimedes. Every time you use a screwdriver, you got to anything.
Oh, man. I'm embarrassed for forgetting Archimedes' name. Oh, my goodness. He invented so many things, didn't he?
He was a smart guy.
Very smart guy.
But as you can see, the swimming pool and the king's crown are completely unrelated things. But he put them together.
Yeah.
And then he ran down the street, and he was so excited that he
was naked, wasn't he?
He forgot to put his clothes on. Anyway, thank you, Archimedes, for inventing the screw, and that was for pumping water.
Yeah, and I was also surprised when I learned how that worked.
So, verification.
Are you asking me to define it?
It's not like if you come up with an idea and then you present your ID badge to show that it's you. What could verification mean in an idea?
if I were to just define the term verification, I would say proving the validity of something.
Yeah.
Either like accuracy of something that exists or viability of something to create. That's my guess.
Prototype.
Well, a prototype is an example of something you make to test out an idea or concept. I guess a proof of concept comes before prototype, doesn't it? Or I don't know. No. A prototype is when you make something that functions, but then again, I'm also like aware of the term functional prototype. When I hear people say functional prototype, I almost wonder if that means that there's also the possibility of non-functional prototypes as well.
Well, I've seen non-functional prototypes of people like who invented airplanes that didn't work so well.
Well, I guess then you have to verify its
movies of
function there or something.
Jumping off of buildings, trying to flap their wings. So, the Eddington experiment.
I have no idea what that is. I just hear something that ends in ton, and I think this sounds British. I don't know why, but
Involved solar eclipse, 2 telescopes.
Guess. Here's a guess. Does this have anything to do with estimating a length or size at astronomical or planetary scale?
It was location.
So
some really good clocks, I think.
So we're measuring the time difference between when the eclipse reached totality or something between 2 locations. Because that proves something about. Because I think that might prove something about the size of the Earth. Oh no, I'm thinking about a different.
And the eclipse of the sun. Well-known positions of these stars.
Oh, you said stars.
Yeah. During a total eclipse.
So we're looking at like the positions of the stars relative to the sun during the eclipse, because it's only during the eclipse that you can actually observe the stars that close to the sun.
Yes.
And they wanted to see if there was any difference in the apparent relative locations of the stars.
Exactly.
From 2 different locations when looking at the sun.
Exactly.
I would imagine such an experiment on Earth would mean the difference would be negligible and you wouldn't actually like see anything from it. But it might prove or disprove a hypothesis.
Which was that the gravitation of the sun would affect the apparent position of the stars.
Oh, I see.
And it did.
Yes.
And so they were able to capture the sun affecting the apparent position of these Tauri stars, Tauri. And it proved, I think it was in 1919, it proved Einstein's theory of general relativity. So that verified his...
That proves the curvature of
theory.
space-time due to mass.
Yeah, he had worked out through science, through all the empirical, mathematical science, that his theory was correct, and he was able to correctly calculate the amount that the star's appearance was off by.
Yeah.
And then they published it in the newspaper, and he became famous.
Very
anyway.
nice. Yeah. Wasn't he like doubted like in the interim between like his when he like
I know he had to modify his theories.
Yeah.
He had to modify his math, but he finally got it right.
Because I remember there being some kind of dispute. I don't know if it was at the time or if it was recent about how strongly the gravitational lensing would prove to be. I think I'm mixing up ideas in my head. I think I'm mistaken. I think I'm thinking about a different physical phenomenon actually. Not exactly sure.
Well, but our thoughts have led to a greater understanding of creative thinking. And I feel illuminated and inspired already, so I'm ready to go invent and think outside the box. Anyway, Cole, thank you for joining us. This has been been a lot of fun, and we'll see you next time on Zonst.